Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Got a great car, great team. We'll execute. Our time. We know what we got to do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight till the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction.
Side by side, hammer down.
The afterchecks are lit. Count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. What a victory this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag is going to end it.
Does he have enough? A dominant performance.
You gotta stay down, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can get it. One final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Right here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
Start your engines!
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the National Stock Car iRacing Series. We've got a lot on the table for tonight's race here, live from Talladega Superspeedway, just moments away from getting these drivers set to getting the green flag. I'm Oscar Jensen in the Turn Sector Media booth here with you guys tonight, bringing you the action, and boy, is it going to be an exciting race for you fans out there tonight. We have two races, a doubleheader here at Talladega. It's going to be pretty entertaining. Both these races are going to be 50 laps each, so a lot of chances for these drivers to be able to get up towards the front, but also a lot of chances for things to go wrong for some of these drivers. Let's go ahead and go down our starting lineup here real quick. For race number 1, Noah Blackwell will have the pole. Joshua Nunes will be to his outside. As we head down to row number 2, we'll have Xavier Ruggelbrugge and Kenneth Lowry. Row number 3, we'll have Christopher Stange and Joseph Smith. Row number 4, we head back to John Tiller and Ryan Rose. Row number 4, we will have Michael Badra and Landon Burbage. Row number 6, we head back to Lucian Thomas and then Dallas Stewart. Row number 7, we have William Connolly, then Aiden Lucas. Row number 8, we have Jordan Hand and Dylan Carrier. Then in row number 9, we will have Ryan Holler and then Philip Simpson. And rounding out the field in row number 10, we'll have Nathan Brookover. So 19 drivers will be taking the green flag for race number 1. Again, Noah Blackwell will be leading these guys to the green flag. Drivers have been anticipating this for a while. Not only is it going to be a doubleheader, but some of these drivers will also have an opportunity to go through and race for some extra money, which will be talked about throughout this race as well, I'm sure. And a little extra money in the back of the pocket never hurts. Pace car is going to pull off of the racetrack here, and then the field will be in the hands of Noah Blackwell, who will then lead the field behind him. Remember, though, it's a long ways away until we see that restart zone. Crowd on their feet, just moments away, rolling into the start. Green flag in the air. We're off and racing from Talladega Superspeedway. A good lap one here as we got a battle for the race lead. Kenneth Lowry taking over. Noah Blackwell falling back to second. He's a second car in the inside. And then Joshua Nunez looking to make some noise on that high side as they come around to lap 1. And boy, they are side by side all the way through the field. Blackwell now getting the chance to clear himself back in front of Lowry for that top spot. He's going to be working both the inside and the outside as they head through 1 and 2 down this back straightaway. Nunes now giving a push to Lowry there on the outside. They're going to try and make some noise and push Noah Blackwell back a few spots, but Blackwell fighting back strong on that inside lane. But give that position to Lowry as now looks like Rugglebruggy looks to peak high and Blackwell going to shut the door on him. Now back and forth for the race lead. Blackwell dancing there through the 2 lanes, looking to lead that lap. 2 wide at the moment, but now look at Xavier making it 3 wide for just a split second. 3 wide as they head into 1 and 2. The 35 being put in the sucker hole. He's going to be shuffled back quite a bit. On the inside and outside, those drivers going around him. No help for the time being for that 35 machine as he continues to get suckered back through the field. Now the past 3 races, we've had 3 different winners. But majority of this season so far, we've seen Xavier Rugglebruggy and Joseph Smith be able to put themselves in victory lane. The only 2 drivers that aren't named Smith or Rugglebruggy have been Kenneth Lowry and then Jaden Browder. So some of these drivers out here tonight may be looking to add their names to the winner's circle this season. Christopher Staines moving into that second spot on the inside. also looking to have a good night here. That top lane trying to work together. Losing a little bit of ground to that inside lane. You can see the difference there as they head down this front straightaway. 3 cars now separated from the inside to the outside, but now that outside looking to maybe make some noise here as they come down the front straightaway once again. Nunez giving a great push there to Rogelbrugge on the outside, but Blackwell looking to put the stop to that as he goes to high to defend that outside run. Rogelbrugge making that move to the outside, and he will be able to take that spot. He forces Blackwell back down to the bottom, and now Rogelbrugge's going to lead his first couple of laps here as he takes the race lead. Blackwell getting shuffled back to 4th, maybe even 5th. Nunez been a great pusher so far this race. He's been able to get the drivers in front of him out to the race lead, and now going to do the same for Xavier. Xavier going to lead here at the line. Blackwell in that inside lane falling back, losing a bit more ground here. They're going to have to rally 4th on this this inside lane if they want to be able to compete with a top lane who looks a little bit more organized here. Some shuffling going back out through the field. They're a little bit further back here. That's Jordan Hand maybe trying to make some noise in that middle lane. Not quite able to get the draft up to the back bumper of the car in front of him, and now kind of in no man's land, maybe trying to just settle down and wait for these guys to figure things out ahead of him. Again, it's a 50-lap race here in race number 1, so you don't need to be over the top aggressive here early on, knowing that you still have a lot of time left in this first race, but also you have a chance at the second race to make a move and maybe even capture that win as well. Xavier fighting hard on the outside still. Ryan Rose, newcomer here, looking to make some noise on that inside lane. He's got Blackwell behind him, doing a great assistance, even though he hasn't been able to get back out front again. That 18 machine is looking to be a threat here, and so far has been pretty aggressive out front tonight, so definitely going to be one to watch out for. Again, as they head down this back straightaway here, that outside lane just continuing to be a little bit formed up better than that inside lane. Now you see Lowry taking a look to the inside in that 35 car. Now going to lead that inside lane coming off of 4. Nunez maybe trying to get a bit of clean air on the front nose there through the tri-oval. A little bit of side drafting taking place here. That's Aiden Lucas and Landon Burbage. Aiden stuck in the middle. Burbage up high, trying to break that side draft best he can. Three wide from the moment. Again, Aiden Lucas still stuck in the middle here. Not really having a whole lot of areas to go with is this 34 car, Jordan Hand, right there in that 48. We just talked about a moment ago, maybe just trying to figure out where he wanted to be and let these guys decide what they were going to do that last lap. And looks like he's now moved himself into that middle, now bottom lane, trying to gain some ground up on some of these guys in front of him. Such a hard thing to do, though, is trying to pass cars, especially at a super speedway like this where you don't really have anywhere to go. You're just kind of stacked up for a majority of the race. You have to definitely be a little bit aggressive here when trying to side draft and make moves, as you have a little bit of a bobble right there from the 61. They have to maneuver around behind. That's the 18 car of Noah Blackwell, who had to go high there and make a quick adjustment on corner entry. Able to keep it maintained though for the time being, but Blackwell continuing to lose spots here and has not had things go right ever since he got shuffled out of that race lead. And that was the 61 of Lucian Thompson there, who actually had that bobble, was able to hang on to it though, and no harm, no foul, but now going to move himself into that bottom lane and lead this field down the back straightaway. He's going to have that 38 car of Dallas Stewart behind. A great push down the back straightaway. We'll see what these cars can do in that middle lane. Right now it's led by Joshua Nunez, Xavier Ruggerbuggy, and Joseph Smith, those two teammates controlling that third lane. Landon Burbage right behind him too, so I think actually we have a good teammate line here in the middle lane, really controlling this top couple positions. Now one driver who knows how to get it done at these super speedway tracks that we've been to so far is the 35 of Kenneth Lowry. Remember, he won the season opener at Daytona. Looking to maybe add another win to a super speedway column here. He's had a little bit of a quiet season so far. He's had some good finishes, but also not had that momentum from Daytona carry over too much. So looking to maybe turn his season around again and get another win here, as up front looks like there's a lot of moving going on as these teammates up at the front trying to just sort things out and defend these top few positions. Aiden Lucas in the middle there. Looks like he might have gotten a little out of shape for a second. Blackwell looks side, not quite sure if he's going to have a lot of help. Aiden's going to just fall in behind Burbage and stick with this middle lane. Blackwell, though, the lone driver out at the top, just trying to make some spots up again, but unfortunately looks like he's going to get shuffled back as he continues to not have any help. Now he might get one driver there. I think that's the 20. I can't quite make out who it is. It's a 22, I think. Yes, it's Philip Simpson there in that 22 behind Blackwell. So two cars now on the outside, but not enough to maybe get things going on that top side for now. The 29 of Christopher Stange looks like he might have gotten in a little bit of a wiggle there off the exit after getting a push from that 27 of John Tiller off of two, and that really checked out this bottom lane. They lost quite a bit of ground that they've been working so hard. Another wiggle right there from Stange leading the inside lane. They're going to lose even more ground, so this inside lane having a little bit of struggles this past lap, losing a bit more ground, as it now looks like those top 5 to 6 cars are going to be able to clear themselves. That's really going to jumble up these guys behind them. You see the 3 wide here coming off at 2. Blackwell still trying to make this high line work. That shuffle up between Stange and Tiller really allowed these guys to get a little bit more spread out. Once again, back behind. Aiden Lucas going to the outside of Burbage, trying to side draft as best he can. That's going to suck Burbage off the back bumper of Smith in front of him. And really, that side draft by Aiden to get Burbage off the back bumper, it was a smart move. It did lose him a little bit of time, but still able to get and maintain that draft from in front. And that's what you're going to have to do to break up those 4 teammates there. You're going to have to be able to somehow find a way to break them up and get them away from one another. Unfortunately, it looks like Aiden is going to be the sore loser in that mess, though, because he's going to get shuffled back after trying to make a move to the outside, continuing to fall back here with no help. Was just up here in this 6th, racing for 5th position now, falling back to 15th in just a half a lap. Things can go south real quick. Now these drivers are going to be coming up on a slow car. I believe that's the 54 of Dylan Carrier who they are catching. Just a single car out here for the time being, and we will, I believe, have to make at least one green flag pit stop in this 50-lap race. And unless we see a caution, it could be a bad race for this 54 car, but it is Talladega. It is a super speedway race, so we do kind of anticipate there being a caution later in this race when things start to get a little wild. Like we said, it's a long ways in this race. It is only 50 laps, but there is still plenty of time to make your moves, and you don't want to take yourself out of contention this early in this race. Nunes, Rugglebruggy, Smith, and Burbage continuing to hold strong at the front, controlling the field so far. They're starting to dice it up back towards the back of the field here. Blackwell still trying to find his way forward. Aiden Lucas also in that mix as well, trying to gain some spots after losing out on maybe a top position there after not getting any help. The 19 of Ryan Haller looking to move himself up as well. Kind of just been migrated back towards the tail end of this field. Hasn't been too aggressive, kind of just maintaining what he needs to do. Been clicking off these drivers one by one. Not really being too aggressive though, and that's what I like out of a driver at a super speedway race like this. Just trying to maybe be a little bit conservative, let the other drivers make their mistakes, put themselves in bad positioning, and then at the very end, you can make your moves and maybe gain a few spots as well as they come around. The 54 of Dylan Carrier, like we talked about a lap-ish ago, he's going to go a lap down and should be the only driver one lap down in that high side in that green, bright green 54 car. So one driver a lap down here early on. Nunes continuing to lead the way so far as they, looks like they're trying to break up these top 4 drivers. Landon Burbage being that 4th driver in that pack. Maybe getting side drafted off the 3 in front of him again. Blackwell in hand, looking to make some noise on the inside, and Ryan, well, he's right there in the mix as well. Like I said, just kind of slowly moved himself up through the field, just been quiet, just been picking these guys off one by one. Now moving himself into 7th, maybe even 6th or 5th position as well, depending on where he decides to put himself in for position this lap. Three wide pack here again. Blackwell now in that middleman mix. Oh, contact made. The 27 around, hitting that outside wall with help from the 22, able to keep it going, but some significant damage there to John Taylor and Philip Simpson in that 22 truck, or car, excuse me. And some significant damage to that right front of John Tiller. I'm not quite sure if there might not be something broke on that machine. definitely limping around and a little bit slower. That's Dallas Stewart working his way around that machine on the inside. The 27 machine, that is. Kind of check these guys up mid-pack, and they're going to kind of shuffle things out and about. Ryan getting help from on the outside from Aiden Lucas behind those two, trying to make some noise on the outside. Meanwhile, you have the 35 and the 29, those two team cars making some noise on that inside lane. That's led by Lowry in that 35 with Christopher Stange right behind him. And it looks like the 37, I believe, as well, Michael Badra, trying to help get up in front of those two team cars in front of him and maybe help them out, trying to get around those other team cars that's just a lane above them. No, Ryan moving to the outside with that run, trying to side draft those guys on the middle lane, trying to work him and Aiden up. They're holding strong just with being two cars on that outside lane. You can see how much that slows Burbage down there through the center of 3 and 4. That's going to check up that middle lane. Now here comes that inside lane led by Kenneth Lowry and Christopher Stange. Let's go ahead and look back at what happened here with the 27 of John Tiller coming off of turn number 2. See if it can pop up for me real quickly. We'll try it again here. There we go. So 27 with the 22 behind him. Looks like they're pushing pretty decent and then maybe just got unaligned. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it looks like they might have gotten a bit unaligned and just made that contact, which sent them both hard into that outside wall. But again, no caution and able to keep it green, as now you see Xavier go for that top spot. A little bit of a lead change. The 35 to 29 and the 37 all teammates, I believe, on that bottom side. Then you have 3 teammates there on that middle second lane working together. So 2 teams going at it for this top position. Xavier now going to go down low to block that run. Drifts back high in front of his teammate. Now back down low to stop that run. Great defending there from Xavier to control those lanes as we have a caution out on the track. And actually, I might have gotten that wrong. Let's double check. I'm hoping I had it right. This could potentially be. We'll go back and see. But I know it was 2 races. I'm not quite sure, though, if it was. If it is 25 lap splits. But either way, right now at the front, it has been all Xavier Rugglebruggy, Joshua Nunes, and Joseph Smith for the time being. Those drivers looking to make this field work for it as they try and get around these drivers for the top spot. Well, things, like I said, looking good here at the front. Xavier Rugglebrugge with the lead here. Kenneth Lowry, Joshua Nunez, Christopher Stange, Joseph Smith making up the top 5. Michael Badra right there as well, and really having these two teams up at the front. Really throwing these two teams. I mean, they've just been working so great. Those individual teams having each one of these drivers at least represent on this front row and up, leading each one of their respectable lines, and really just been a heck of a show between these two teams so far. We've also had the 18 of Noah Blackwell be right up in the mix. He's shuffled a little bit further back after being up and leading a good portion of the front half of this race. Obviously, he's going to have a little bit of ground here to make up once we get the green flag back in the air, but there's a lot of drivers here who I think once we get the green flag again might be a little bit more aggressive, knowing that there's only going to be 25 laps here left. So I assume majority of these drivers probably coming down pit road there to get not only a full tank of fuel, but also 4 tires. You're more than likely going to need to take your fresh set of tires. Not that it really plays too much of a factor here, but every little bit of handling will definitely play into a factor. And you'll see it towards the end of these races that, there will be a time where you try and go high to move a block, and maybe your tires have a little bit of extra heat in them, or if you take right sides only, could change the balance of that, and then you get a little bit squirrely, and that's sometimes what leads to big wrecks. But having 4 fresh tires really just sets the car up to be as neutral as possible. And in these next 23, I think we're going to get the green flag with about 21 laps to go. So within that last 21 laps, it's going to be definitely a race to watch, and these guys are going to be a little bit antsy probably as well because of that short little stint that we'll have once we get the green flag. But again, I'm sure the field right now not wanting to see Xavier Rugglebrugge up towards the front after having a dominating season so far. His last win coming a couple weeks ago at Rockingham Speedway, or Portland Raceway, excuse me. His other race win came at Rockingham Speedway. And I'm sure some of these other drivers around him want to be able to put themselves in victory lane as well. But Xavier, I mean, has just been so strong this season. So is Smith, who's going to be starring behind him here. Those two going to have probably a good restart lining up behind one another. So just a lot of good drivers up towards the front, even at a Superspeedway where it is really unknown as to what could possibly happen. Those two drivers finding themselves up towards the front here. Let's go ahead and actually take a look at our weather display as well. So 73 degrees out, 15 miles an hour for the wind heading towards the west, which could be somewhat of a factor here as well. Partly cloudy, then the track temp is 116. So those issues that we maybe saw in that middle lane coming off of 4 could definitely be somewhat because of those strong winds. The track temp being so hot as well, definitely not going to help that wind issue if you get into a certain spot on track where that car has the wind hitting in the bad spot. So these drivers definitely going to have to watch out for that. I'm sure their crews are definitely keeping an eye on that and relaying that information to the drivers, as well as, spotting wise, you're going to have to be on your A game here for these next 21 laps. If you see a car get loose, you're going to have to be able to check up pretty quick and not run into the back of a driver in front of you or get ran over from behind. So These drivers going to have a lot at task here, as well as their teams here, once we get the green flag in just a moment. Pace car is off here. Xavier, Joshua leading the front row, working their way back around into the restart zone where we will see the green flag once again back in the air. We're under racing again. Xavier Smith able to get a good restart there with the 40 car of Joshua Nunez as well. They're going to come around and lead this lap, and then the field's going to see 20 laps to go this time by. Time running out for these drivers. Dallas Stewart looks to make a move to the inside lane, so now he's going to put himself in position. Oh, Nunez right there making a late move, diving down to the inside. Noah Blackwell finds himself back up in the mix as well, and here comes the 61 of Lucian Thomas into the mix. Three wide further back through the field for three, maybe even 4 rows deep. That 22 is leading that middle lane. Philip Simpson, that is. Aiden Lucas is outside. And then the 37 of Michael Bedra there. Looks like he's maybe just trying to stay out of trouble as maybe some contact made up towards the front. That's the 18 of Noah Blackwell able to hang on to it. No caution, keeping it green, but some heavy left front damage for that 18 car. And that could very well put an end to Noah Blackwell's night. He's limping it around through turns 3 and 4 right now, but heavy contact to the front end of that machine. Let's take a look at it here. The 61 behind him, the 31 in front. Looks like Smith and Blackwell might have made a bit of contact and a hard hit right there into the inside wall. And that definitely broke the left front on that 18 car. You see him able to bring it back around, but definitely limping around. And things definitely getting a little bit more racy here as well. We've already seen these guys be a little bit more aggressive with the pushing, but also these guys are not afraid to make it 3 wide right now. Whereas we saw before that caution that these guys really were just kind of staying a bit relaxed, staying at least 2 wide for the most part. But now we're seeing 3 wide as we work off of turn 4. The outside lane currently being led by Aiden. Aiden trying to bring that outside lane up with the help of Jordan Hand behind him. Smith, Rugglbruggy, and Stange, all those top 3 drivers really going to have to be on defense here as the pack comes roaring up behind him here down the back straightaway. Xavier with the block over Aiden there with a big block. That's going to check up those guys behind him. Great attention there from behind. And then we have the 27 in the wall. That's John Tiller. Dylan Kager, and he's going to collect his teammate, the 35 of Michael Stange. Or Christopher Stange, I think, actually. No caution, though. Yes, now we're going to see a caution. So now getting a caution, and I believe that was for that incident. I don't know how many cars are actually heavily damaged. Obviously, Kenneth Lowry here with some significant damage. And then his teammate, I believe we saw the 27 of John Taylor also involved in that one. He had to tow immediately from that wreck, though, because it pretty much killed that front end and that engine under that race car. So at least 3 to 4 cars involved in this wreck. Let's go take a look at this here. So working down the back straightaway, remember Aiden up in front kind of caused a checkup after getting blocked from Xavier, and it looks like, I'm not quite sure if that was a reaction from the checkup. We'll have to take another look here. Yeah, I mean, I think they were definitely still checking up from that block on the high side, and it just shuffled so far back through the pack that, I mean, you see the 27 of John Taylor trying to maybe make a move to the middle lane, and that 20 car of William Connolly was trying not to run over the guy in front of him, which just kind of, again, just a chain reaction from that big checkup up towards the front, and that's going to end the night of John Taylor, but also hurt his teammate, that 35 of Kenneth Lowry, as well as Dylan Carrier. I don't know if Carrier actually had too much damage, but definitely being right there in that wrecking. What a great job by this 2-car of Landon Burbage to avoid that as well. Almost got collected in that, but was able to just narrowly avoid it right there. Just so close right there for that 2-car Landon Burbage. Great wreck avoidance though, and he's not going to be collected in this one. Let's ride on board here with Landon Burbage. Again, just avoiding that wreck by maybe inches, if even that. So you see him start to wreck right up in front of him, and he makes a late move low and just barely gets by that. He's going to live to fight another day, though. So great wreck avoidance there from Landon Burbage in this 2 machine. Unfortunate for that 27 of John Taylor, though. Looks like he's going to be back behind the wall now. So caution number 2 on the night. This is going to bring us within the last 15 laps of the race. We'll probably have 13 laps to go as long as everything goes right here when we get the green flag. The 2 teammates out front, Xavier Rugglebruggy and Joseph Smith. Joshua Nunez right there behind them as well. I believe that's the 3rd car for that team. Then you have the 61 of Lucian Thompson right behind in 4th, and Christopher Staines running out the top 5. So 3 drivers on the same team in the top 3. Going to be in control on this restart. Then you have some other drivers behind, maybe looking to work together to get around those 3 drivers in front. We're going to take a quick second here to just get collected, and we'll be right back. It's just going to be about 10-15 seconds here real quick, though. All right, well, field looking to work their way off of turn number 4 here in just a moment. We will then see the green flag. Excuse me, right there. I drank some water and it went down the wrong tube there for a second. But yeah, field going to work their way off of 4. It'll leave their 2 teammates to control this front row. We'll see what the field behind has for these top 3 drivers. Pace car is going to work its way off the racetrack field, working through the front straightaway. Into the restart zone. Green flag in hand once again. We're off and racing for the last 13 laps here at Talladega. The 3 teammates getting cleared. They're going to move high. That's going to allow Christopher Stange now to be the leader in that inside lane. He's got the 19 of Ryan Holler right behind him as well. Michael Badra there in that 37, looking to rebound some positions as well. He's also in that inside lane. Jordan Hand in the middle. He has got the 20 car behind him, and here comes Landon Burbridge diving down into that inside lane, getting by the 22, now going to slot himself back up in front of the 22. So gaining 1 position right there through 3 and 4. We'll see what he decides to do here down this straightaway into 1 and 2. Single file for the time being up at the front. Rugglebruggy leading his teammates right behind him for the time being, but as these laps continue to wind down, you've just got to wonder what those 3 teammates are going to do here. Each one of them wants to win for their own team, but obviously they want to work together as a whole organization. But I'm sure once we see these laps wind down, it's probably going to be hard for those drivers to decide between one another what they want to do. And now these guys in this second group who have kind of broken away as Burbridge goes around up towards the front. And I think that's going to bring out a caution once again. Burbridge around with maybe a little bit of contact with that inside wall. And that's going to bring out caution number 3 here. And we were just thinking that those guys in that first little group that have broken away may have been a little bit more settled down, but now we see troubles for Landon Burbridge, who is running up in that pack. He's going to go around and maybe collect a bit of damage. Not anything major, though. Let's go ahead and take a look here in just a second at what this replay, but before we do that, I mean, let's just take a look at Burbridge's car, and I don't see any significant damage. I think he should be, for the most part, fine. Might want to come down pit road and maybe take a look at that, but I think from this perspective, it looks to be pretty clean on that 2 machine. All right, so we got to go a little bit back further. I'm not quite sure what. So riding behind the 61 looks like another stack up again in front between Nunez and Smith. Christopher Stange, I believe, got into the back bumper of that 2 car and sent him around. Well, half around. I guess he didn't fully go around, but definitely went for a bit of a slide here. Let's take another look at it here. Great job by the rest of these guys, though, to avoid anything major than what it could have been. Yeah, just a check up right there, and then Burbridge tried to get checked up as well, but unfortunately Stange behind wasn't quite able to check up. And then these guys behind him getting almost together, able to hang on to it and stay off of one another, but it does bring out a caution here. And when we get the green flag, it's going to be under 10 laps to go. Let's go ahead and take one more look back at it real quick. Yeah, you can see the flames underneath that car, those cars when they lift to get off the throttle. And unfortunately, Stange in that 29 just didn't get slowed up in time and got into the back of that number 2 of Landon Burbage. Burbage able to really go without any damage. Christopher Stange having some right front damage. It looks like some pretty heavy contact on the right side. So he's going to need to bring it down pit road and to the attention of his crew. So another late caution here, going to rack these guys up once again. Xavier Ruggie still holding on to the race lead for the time being. Nunes there in second, then Smith in third. Those three drivers continuing to hold on to these top 3 positions and working great as a team. We'll see if they can hang on to it for these last handful of laps when we get the green flag again, but they're going to have to be a little bit more cautious there. You saw Nunes and Smith and Xavier kind of get unaligned, which kind of caused that check up there for that caution that we just looked at, which when you're coming down to the wire, I mean, you can't really have those sort of things go that way. If they had a second line formed on that high side, they definitely could have lost potentially the race lead. If those guys were hooked up on that outside lane, they would have been probably been able to get around those guys on the inside lane because of that little bit of a mistake. But I think they've definitely been able to probably realize that inside the race car and from their team perspective that they need to be a little bit more clean when they come aligned out on the racetrack here in these next handful of laps. So we'll see if maybe they can kind of clean that up and come home with the race win here. Now the question will be who can come home with race win number 1 and the victory here. Remember, we still have a whole nother race to go here. Both these races are going to be 50 laps, so the winner of race number 1 looking to be decided here in just a few moments. Pace car is going to work its way off of the racetrack here. Then we're going to get the green flag once again. Xavier, Nunez, Smith, Lucian, Jordan, the top 5 drivers here rolling into the restart zone once again. Green flag back in the air. 7 laps to go here from Talladega Superspeedway for race number 1 of the National Stock Car iRacing Series. Another good restart by those teammates on that inside lane. They're going to get up in front of the 40. Now Smith is going to be the second car in line as they jumble it up behind them, trying to figure it out. The 48 of Jordan Hand looks like he's going to move himself up, clear of that mess for the time being, and maybe a little bit of contact right there between Blackwell and Aiden Lucas. Entering 3 and 4, able to hang on to it, but they're going to be 3 wide, top side for the time being. 6 laps this time by for the field. Those 3 teammates continuing to be strong up front. Drivers behind them just trying to work together to get around those top 3. Running out of time though. Here comes the 20 of William Connolly. What can he do? He's going to get a block from Lucian Thomas in front of him as maybe Lucian looks to dive it down to the inside. Might have had some help there from Connolly behind, but here comes Aiden. Aiden looking to push that 20 car towards the front. Noah Blackwell back in the mix as well. He's got a big push to the back end of that 34 car. 5 laps to go this time by. 20 looks slow, maybe decides otherwise. Blackwell now going to be the taker. Aiden Lucas now being shuffled out on that high side. Contact being made. Three wide, Aiden Lucas stuck up top. Dylan Carrier in the middle. Ryan Haller there on that bottom side. Ryan holding down 7th. Trying to gain some positions here late in this race after being a little quiet throughout the race, looking to capitalize off of other people's mistakes. Aiden Lucas trying to gain some spots after being shuffled out through the pack, as now it looks like Connolly maybe taking a look to the outside of Nunez there, but Blackwell gonna say he's not gonna go with that 20 car and help the 40 car in front for the time being. This time by 4 laps to go at the line. Still shuffling on back. Two, 3 wide, moving up towards the top. These 2 teammates up at the front trying to control the race. What will Smith do? What will Rugglebruggy do? Are they going to stay hooked together for the time being? Looks like Ryan might have gone off track a bit there. He falls back to 15th after being in 7th just a second ago. And now is go time as you come around to 3 laps to go. You've got to be able to be aggressive on pushing as you see Blackwell get Nunez out of shape there for just a second, able to hang on to it though. Side drafting becoming more aggressive. Drivers starting to lean off of one another. No more give. You've got to be able to take all that you can out here on track. We have yet to see a big one. So far, though, these drivers keeping it clean for the most part. There's a little bit of contact right there between Aiden and Connolly. Gets that outside lane out of shape, but here comes the run on the outside. Side by side for second place. Now, Connolly moves himself with Aiden Lucas into that second spot on the outside. 2 laps to go this time by a big block there by Xavier. Smith now just trying to hang on to the lane below him. He's going to search middle, down to the low side, pulling those guys behind him. Connolly takes a look to the inside. Some contact being made side by side for the race lead. Just under 2 laps to go. What can Connolly do? Oh, contact made, and Connolly is up and around. The big one at Daytona down the back straightaway. Multiple cars involved. Aiden Lucas goes spinning. Xavier Rugglebruggy with contact as well. Kenneth Lowry also involved. Noah Blackwell involved. I think Michael Badra was also involved. Heavy contact for a lot of this field as we had the big one here with just a couple laps to go, and now we're going to get set up for what will be a green-white checkered finish. Let's take a look at this big wreck happening, or that did happen down the back straightaway. So I could probably cut it. Let's see if we can go a little bit better here of an angle. So contact between, I think that was Xavier and Aiden Lucas, who had initially had the contact happen between those two drivers. Things just being a little bit aggressive here, which you got to do here. See Aiden look to the middle, make it 3 wide. Connolly, yeah, that's just such a hard, I don't know if I can really, it's so hard to really pinpoint one single mistake. There's just so much going on here. You see Connolly going up right here to side draft and maybe try and block that 5 of Xavier Rugglebruggy, but Xavier was also getting pounced on by that 34 of Aiden Lucas. So 3 things really happening all at once. Yeah, that's just a hard, really, thing to put on one single driver. It's just so many things happening with just a handful of laps to go. Everybody's trying to be super aggressive. Hard hit there to that outside for that 20 car of William Connolly, as you see Noah Blackwell, Christopher Stange goes spinning, Aiden Lucas right there as well. Ryan board with Christopher Stange here. It happens right up in front of him. He ends up being collected in the wreck. Hits that inside wall pretty hard. The 38 of Dallas Stewart also involved. A lot of good cars being taken out in this wreck here late in this race. And William Connolly, who's going for the race lead there, now might be out of the race with that damage. He still has a chance at it, but, and actually as I see that camera angle now, it looks like he actually is probably out of it with that blown engine. So going for the race lead now, finding himself back behind the wall. Again, things just changing in a heartbeat so quickly. A lot of good cars, like I said, being collected in this late race incident. Well, we'll get these guys racked up and ready to go once again. Now, Joseph Smith going to lead the field here to green. Joshua Nunes will be behind. Or is it Joshua Nunes? It's showing, I believe, actually Nunes is in the top spot. Then it'll be Joseph Smith and then Dylan Carrier in that third position. Dylan Carrier, after going down a lap early at the beginning of this race, now looking to find himself in good position to maybe come out and get the race win. He's in that bright green 54 machine. Ryan in that 19 third car on that bottom lane, also in position to get a good finish, but also maybe put himself in victory lane. We'll have to see what that 19 car decides to do here. We've talked about him all night long, just kind of minding his own P's and Q's and just kind of been clicking off this race to put himself in contention for the win. And, well, he's in contention for the win, that is for sure. We'll see if he can maybe put himself in victory lane, though. Field rolling up through the restart zone once again. Smith, Nunes going to lead the field up through the restart zone. Green flag in the air once again. Just a handful of laps to go here. 2 laps to go at the line. The 40 with a great start on that outside lane. Smith not getting the start that he needs, and here comes the 61 on the outside with help from the 78 of Ryan Rose behind him. Now Carrier dives to the outside lane. Nunes protects bottom back to top, but here comes Dylan Carrier. 3 wide for the race lead. Now Nunes getting shuffled back. Carrier up towards the top. That 40 car going to be suckered pulled through that middle lane here. We'll see what they decide to do behind him. Carrier now moves himself back to the inside row, and here comes Ryan Haller. White flag in the air this time by. What will Ryan be able to do with help from the 54 behind? They've just got to make it around one last time here. Ryan now clear of the inside lane over Joseph Smith. Ryan putting himself out front. Carrier now dives to the inside lane. Side by side through 1 and 2. Who's it gonna be down this back straightaway? The 61 with the big push out of line there. Ryan a little bit of a tap there. Ryan trying to hang on to it. They're wrecking behind. Ryan has no help though, Mike. So now Dylan Carrier gonna have that advantage. Ryan still has no help. He has to side draft if he wants to be able to stay up front, not having any luck. But the eyes are on the top 2. Carrier blocks high, blocks low. Joseph Smith looks high, trying to get to the outside. He's got room, but the 37's going to be back to the back bumper. And now Dylan Carrier comes home with the race win for race number 1 at Talladega Superspeedway. A great finish by some of these other drivers as well. Ryan was in contention there at the end, but unfortunately wasn't able to make up any more ground. He's going to finish 5th, but a good day there for race number 1 here for that 19 car. We'll see if he can maybe advance those positions and put himself in the right position again for race number 2. But right now, eyes are on Dylan Carrier in this 54 car. as he goes on to celebrate here on the front straightaway. Let's go ahead and pull up Dylan Carrier here. Dylan Carrier hops out the race car, celebrating on the front straightaway. Dylan, you put yourself in the right position there on that restart there. And throughout the whole race, I mean, you did start the race a little bit behind and then went a lap down there early on, but a few cautions and a few lucky breaks, you're able to find yourself back up towards the top spot and put yourself in victory lane for race number 1. Now, the question is, can you back it up in race number 2?
I'm hoping. 2 wins in one night would be awesome, but honestly, focusing on that Dash for Cash, I'm one of those Dash for Cash drivers, so I just got to have a really good finish in the second race to hopefully take home the money. I would like to get another win. Yeah, I missed the start on accident, trying to help people with their paints and their cars and stuff, and I look up and it said missed start, and I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. But overall, I think I made the right moves when it counted, and thought Joseph was going to spin me there coming out of 4. I went to block, and I got a little sideways, and I seen, I don't know who the silver car was. I think that was Badra, and I seen him go low, so I just ducked it back down low and prayed, and beat them both to the line. So overall, a good race 1. Only got caught up in that one wreck. Got super lucky with the big one. Put me in great track position to go out and win this race on that green-white checker.
That it definitely did do for you. And again, you know, like you said, able to have maybe a little bit of luck, but also put yourself in the best track position possible spot there for that final restart, and wound up being able to hang on to it and put yourself in victory lane. Now, we're not going to keep you for too long because you do got to go prepare for a second race here. And before I let you go, though, is there any sponsors you'd like to thank or any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, shout-out to my dad. He's donated money to the league. I feel like he deserves a shout-out. He's been waiting for me to get into the booth so I can give him a shout-out. Shout-out to NJB Designs, best paints on the in the business. Sorry, I'm like, my head's in the clouds right now. Shout-out to Chesapeake and CCH Racing. Jordan and Connolly for help, us 3 putting on this amazing league. I'm glad to see all these guys come out every week and run. And yeah, I think that's all I got for right now. Hopefully I will be back in the booth, and if I can think of anything else, if I'm back in the booth for race 2, I will say thanks to them.
All right, Dylan, we're going to go ahead and let you get prepared for race number 2. Congrats on the race win number 1 here at Talladega, and hopefully, again, be able to speak to you here later tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, now let's go ahead and get Michael. Actually, I think Joseph Smith joined us, so let's get Joseph Smith up in here real quick. Joseph Smith finishing second in race number 1. Almost able to make a move there at the end off of 4, but ultimately just came up a little bit shy. Is there really anything that could have gone differently for you on that restart?
I just needed help at the end. I pushed him one last time, and then I tried to go for it, and it didn't work. So looking back at it, I probably should have just went for it. If I had gotten help, I probably would have got it, but it's still a strong finish. It's second. I mean, I won last week, so I can't really be too upset about it. It's a bummer. Me and my team, we ran great all night. We controlled the field almost the whole race, so I'm proud at that. So we're getting better at play tracks. So, but yeah, it was a good race, good points. second place can't be too mad. Yeah, it sucks for my teammates too. I'm seeing they didn't finish too well either, so that sucks. But I'm so proud of them. We did good throughout the whole race. So
Yeah, and you mentioned working so good with your teammates. You guys held the top 4 positions there for a majority of that race, but ultimately got separated towards the later half of this race, and then I think majority of that team got involved in that big one there. So it really broke you guys apart. But as you head into race number 2, I mean, is the plan still pretty much the same to be able to go out there and work together as good as you did in race number 1?
to be honest, coming into this race, we didn't have a plan. We kind of just figured that out. So I guess we'll just stick to the same thing. Just stay in a line and protect the fast line, and hopefully do better this time. A couple of mistakes we made that caused us to separate, but again, we were strong. So we have this race to learn off of, and I'm gonna assume we're gonna do a lot. I'm pretty confident we're gonna do a lot better in the next race. So.
All right, Sis. Well, we're going to go ahead and let you get on with getting prepared for race number 2. And hopefully we can speak to you here in just a moment again, little bit later tonight. Any quick shout-outs or sponsors you'd like to thank or give?
I'd like to thank Fishbeat, everyone at CHR, CGH, too, all my friends and family at home who watch these races. And yeah, that's it.
All right, Joseph. Thanks for taking a quick moment to speak with us, and we'll let you go get set and prepared for race number 2.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's go ahead and pull up our third place driver here. Let's see if we can get him in here. Michael, you got a copy there?
I got a copy.
All right, well, you're able to come home in that third position here, and looked to be running good throughout the night. Actually, you and your teammates there for a majority there in that middle section of the race really worked well together. I know we still have a whole nother race to go, but looking strong here in race number 1. What more do you think you need in race number 2 from either yourself or your teammates?
Well, I think we need to work on a little bit of bump drafting, working on keeping it straight, keeping it in line. Restarts, getting a little sketchy there. I ended up losing the draft on the next to last restart there, so that final caution came out just in time to save me. Just staying out of trouble. I think that's half the story at these tracks.
Yeah, definitely a big thing that you need to be able to do is stay out of trouble and maybe have a little bit of luck on your side as well. I know as we head into race number 2 here, I think a lot of guys may be taking away a bit of information from this first race, but I know a lot of these guys also want to be able to back up in race number 2, and I don't want to keep you for too long, so we can let you go prepare for race number 2, but what is the objective here for race number 2 tonight?
Just to have a good, strong finish, get some team points. I've only been iRacing for a total of 6 months now, so all this is experience for me. I'm just a rookie out here trying to get seat time. Hopefully we can get the teammates to gather up, work together, and we can all get a good finish and get a good team points night out of it.
Alrighty, well, before I let you go, get prepared for race number 2, any shouts or sponsors you like to thank or give?
Absolutely. We got to thank the team, obviously. A lot of practice goes into this, a lot of work, working on different lines, practicing bump drafting, working together, and Fueled Up Motorsports. We got Blaney in here doing some spotting for us and helping us out. And, of course, Badra Sports Cards and Diecast on eBay.
All right, Michael Badra, thank you for taking a moment to speak with us. We wish you the best of luck here in race number 2.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All righty, well, let's go ahead and go down these race results for race number 1 here real quick. Dylan Kier taking home the race win for race number 1. Joseph Smith finishing second. Michael Badra, who we just spoke to a minute ago, rounding out the top 3. Going down through the field, we have Landon Burbage, Ryan Holler, Lucian Thompson, Jordan Hand, Xavier Rogelbrugge, Joshua Nunez, Ryan Rose rounding out the top 10. Then going on to round out the field, we have Philip Tim Simpson, Dallas Stewart, Nathan Brookover, Noah Blackwell, William Connolly, your top 15. Then going on throughout the field here to finish out will be Kenneth Lowry, Christopher Stange, Aiden Lucas, and then John Taylor with that hard hit, unfortunately getting taken out early in this one. We're going to go ahead and go to commercial break here while we get set up for race number 2. Don't go anywhere, though. More racing, more action-packed, side-by-side fun at Talladega Superspeedway will be taking place here in just a moment. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with you guys.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Got a great car, great team. We'll execute. Our time. We know what we got to do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
We'll fight to the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction.
Side by side, hammer down.
The afterchecks are lit. Count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. Victory this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag is going to end it.
Does he have enough? Holy cow! A dominant performance.
You gotta say no, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can get it. One final shot.
Gotta earn this thing right here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
Drivers, start your
Alrighty, well, welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for race number 2 here in the National Stock Car iRacing Series. Drivers getting gritty up for the time being. Once again, I'm Oscar Jensen here, bringing you the race and the live action commentary here with tonight's race. Drivers just finishing up their gridding. Xavier Rugglebruggy going to be starting on pole, it looks like, here for this second race of the night. Remember, Dylan Carrier just a few moments ago, who we got to speak with, able to take home the first race of the night and put himself in victory lane for race number 1. Michael Badra, who we were able to talk to as well, having a good, strong finish there, able to hang on to third. Then Joseph Smith able to hang on to second. So some of these drivers, I mean, looking to maybe have a little bit of a better go at it for race number 2. Other drivers maybe looking to finish where they really were, or really just hang on to that momentum that they had and maybe not put any more harm to their points tonight or their situation. Let's go ahead and go down the starting grid here for race number 2. Race number 2, we will have Xavier Rugglebruggy on the front row. Ryan Rose will be starting to his outside. Row number 2, we will see Joseph Smith and Landon Burbage. Row number 3, we head back to Noah Blackwell and Christopher Stange. Row number 4, we have Dallas Stewart and William Connolly. Row number 5, we go back to Aiden Lucas and Lucian Thompson there. I'm sorry, just a tongue twister. Then row number 6, we have Dylan Carrier and Kenneth Lowry. Dylan Carrier going to have to come back from 11th to back up race number 2. Row number 7, we'll have John Taylor and Michael Badra. Badra, again, finishing clear there in last race. Going to be starting a little bit further back. Then we have Joshua Nunes and Jordan Hand in row number 8. Row number 9, we'll have Brian Haller and Nathan Brookover rounding out the field. So 18 cars will be taking the green flag for race number 2. Another 50 laps here. Stage will be at 25, and I think I forgot to mention that in the first race, but that's stage. I believe that caution at stage 25 was for the stage caution, I'm pretty sure. So we will have a stage at lap 25. And I'll try and verify if we have a caution for that or not. We'll take a look at the weather display for race number 2 here. Pretty similar to what we saw in race number 1. 78 degrees out. The wind's a little bit lower, only at about 8 to 9 miles an hour. It is fairly overcast right now. Then the track temp, 89 degrees out currently, but could potentially go up. We saw it be up in the 100s last race, so a little bit of a different temperature to start off race number 2. Field going to go work themselves through to the restart zone. Green flag for race number 2. Smith helps Xavier out front. Ryan Rose, though, has a good start there on the outside. Side by side for second place. Smith helping Xavier as best he can to maybe get clear for the top spot, but here comes Rose to the outside with help from Landon Burbage. These two lanes going to be in a dead even drag race as they head into 3 and 4. Burbage, Smith, the pushers for those top 2 spots, working great. Behind them, Blackwell in the 18 on the bottom, Staines in that top side in that 29 machine. Those teammates on the inside lane looking to be strong. Now Xavier going to clear out front for just a moment. Smith doing a great job at keeping that 5 car out front as they continue to work strong on that outside lane, but it's not going to be enough. Meanwhile, back here, the 34 of Aiden Lucas, I believe that is, getting stuck in the middle here He's got the 61 to his outside, the 40 to his inside. These drivers 3x3 for 2 rows. Michael Badra back there in the mix. Kenneth Lowry right behind as well. Darren Carrier. Now the teammates up towards the front, going to be side by side for the race lead. Xavier controlling that middle lane. Smith controlling the bottom. Rose now taking a look to the outside. They're going to be side by side once again for the race lead. Xavier has to hop back down low in front of his teammate Smith. And here comes Landon Burbage to make some noise on that outside lane. Xavier and Smith worked so good in race number 1 to keep themselves and their teams out front. Now looking to repeat the same here in race number 2, but come out with what would be a better finish if they're able to hang on to the top spot. But 50 laps in this race, it's going to be another pretty long, a decent one for these drivers. They're going to have to maintain and show their patience. As a little bit of a bobble there from Connolly to Rose for the race lead as they work that outside lane. Rose might be clear for a second. Not sure if Connolly will be able to clear down low as well. And Smith with the bobble behind, and we got trouble behind. Stewart able to hang on to it, but was majorly sideways there coming off the exit of turn number 2, and that's going to bring our first caution of the night out. Excuse me, first caution of the night for race number 2. A great job to hang on to it though, but that brought out a caution right there, and a great save out of that 38 machine to be able to avoid any contact with really any other driver. If anything, there is some maybe minimal damage, but the car looks pretty clean for what could have been a lot worse. All right, let's take a look at this incident coming off of 2. So Dallas Stewart in that 38 machine on the bottom. He's got the 40 of Nunes behind it. Looks like it really started with a checkup with Smith, and I think Xavier might have gotten on the line a bit, and then they stacked up and then kind of just shuffled on back through the field. But a great save there by Dallas Stewart to be able to hang on to it, and I don't think anybody really got too collected in that. Nunes might have a little bit of damage, so is the 8 car behind. That was Nathan Brookover, who kind of got a little bit of maybe possible front end damage from hitting the back bumper, that 19 of Ryan, and looks like Ryan also might have a little bit of rear end damage, but nothing that isn't fixable, I would say. I think Ryan could easily come down pit road here under this caution and get that damage fixed. Nathan might have to spend a little bit more time because it is in such a critical spot there with that front end nose being caved in maybe just a bit. Yeah, it happened so quick, but an amazing job by all those drivers. Dallas Stewart, especially to be able to hang on to that. Ryan almost going around as well, able to hang on to it though. So some drivers gonna have to come down for a little bit of work for those race cars, mostly on some non-critical places besides the 8 of Nathan Brookover, who might have to spend a little bit extra time on pit road. But these drivers did a great job there at maintaining their position and hanging on to it. So Ryan Rose, through all that, gets to lead the field to green here. He's got the track position in the race lead currently. William Connolly right behind as well. Then Xavier Rogelbrugge, Aiden Lucas, Joseph Smith right behind them as well. Noah Blackwell, we thought was going to be a threat in race number 1, then got collected in the big one. So I'd keep my eyes on this 18 car and see what he can do in race number 2. Maybe learned a little bit from race number 1, trying to pick apart who he can work with and who he maybe can't trust as much. It'll be interesting to see what these teammates here do on this restart. Smith and Rogelbrugge. Again, a little bit of a bobble there kind of caused that wreck to check up through the field and then ultimately brought out a caution, but each one of these drivers did a great job at avoiding and maintaining those cars into a semi-straight line. Dallas Stewart being the driver who did the best job there at hanging on to it, who was pretty much fully sideways and not putting himself in too much of a hole. We saw the field get the 1 to green, so these guys lined up getting ready to take the green flag once again here. And now again, we will have a stage at lap 25, which these drivers will be able to collect some points at. Then a little bit of a, different type of deal tonight. Obviously, with it being 2 races, 2 chances at getting the win with the double header here at Talladega. So a lot of points to still be collected. A lot of drivers still looking to maybe put themselves in victory lane. We saw Dylan Carrier decide that he was going to be the one to put himself in victory lane for race number 1 there. We'll see what driver can put themselves in victory lane for race number 2. For the time being, Ryan Rowe is going to lead these guys off of 4 with the race lead. He's going to look to have a good start here. William Connolly to his inside. Pace car is off. Field getting set to get the green flag once again. Starters got it in hand. They've got a bit of a ways to go till we see the restart zone. Rolling through the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. A great restart there by Ryan Rose on the outside. Maybe a little bit of wheel spin on that inside lane for William Connolly as they shuffle it out and work it out behind them. Blackwell trying to side draft off of Nunez. Those drivers getting a little bit of contact between one another, and Nunez really struggling here on this restart. Burbridge going to go high and put himself 3 wide in the middle. Has Christopher Staines coming up behind him to maybe help him out now. Nunes jumping out to that middle lane. Pan now going to take over that inside lane race lead. And it looks like that 40 car might have a little bit of front end damage, which will be something that he has to worry about with cooling down. And I don't think he might not, or at least I don't think he would want to be maybe leading that pack up front with that damage, although it looks like he's going to find himself in line for the time being as the top 5 are kind of pulled away now. Blackwell and Carrier sucking up to that first pack as well. So these drivers kind of split themselves up here for the time being. The top 7 under a blanket led by Ryan Rose. Aiden Lucas behind. Warren Connolly in 3rd. Then a bit behind him you have Lucian leading this second pack of drivers. He's got 27 of John Tiller and the 29 of Christopher Staines, so 2 teammates behind him. Remember, Tiller was looking to run pretty decent there in that first race and then had some contact which ultimately took him out and he finished last in that race. So looking to bounce back for race number 2 and have a little bit better result here. Now, how cool would it be if Dylan Carrier was able to get out front here again and take home the victory for race number 2 and make it 2 wins on the night for the doubleheader? I know that's what he would like to do, and right now, I mean, he's looking pretty strong, working himself around Joseph Smith on that high side, trying not to lose too much time. Noah Blackwell now going to peak high above Xavier. We'll see where Carrier decides to go. He's going to follow Blackwell now. Really, because of all that shuffling, it's allowed this second pack to kind of catch back up. That's led by John Tiller in the 27 car. Jordan Hand in the 48 right behind in the top line, looking to put himself in position to make some moves as well. Dallas Stewart making a 3 wide on the bottom. No help though. After going for that spin, trying to rebound here. Still got a bit to go, but he wants to make some ground up early in this race. Jordan Hand now diving to the inside. He's going to try and break up that high side. He's going to lead this bottom lane around with the 61 behind. Goes up to side draft a bit. Trying to slow those guys down. But now he's going to be put 3 wide in the middle as Lucian looks to make it a 3 wide battle for the time being down the back straightaway in contact. May able to hang on to it, but that's really going to stack up these drivers. Another nice job at being able to hang on to it. What a save there by that 61 machine to hang on to it and not collect anybody else. Shook up the field once again, but these drivers are able to keep going and not going to see a caution. They will have to be able to get regrouped here as it's really broken up those guys who had just caught back up to the field. So now they're going to have to go back to work to maybe try and catch those guys up front once again. But what could have been a lot worse yet again looks to be fine for the time being. Oh, another stack up on the top side. That's Smith into Xavier. Now Smith has to take a late move to the inside. So Smith now going to lead the bottom in front of Dylan Carrier. Another instant of another checkup here. And we've seen quite a few tonight. At least 2 to maybe a third. I'd say 2 for sure. Wrecks being caused by checkups from drivers in front. We saw 1 in race number 1, and then we saw 1 here to start off this race in race number 2. So checkups these drivers are going to have to keep mindful of as we continue on race number 2. Jordan Hand on the high side getting shuffled back a little bit there, trying to make some moves, but unfortunately has no help behind him, so he's going to lose some positioning again. However, Jordan Hand has kind of had that go his way so far with these first 2 races. He's been able to gain some spots, but then loses it. Some other drivers also having that same bit of luck, just not getting the help they need. But Noah Blackwell, one of those drivers who had shown some aggressiveness and been able to be out front, he looks to make a top lane work for the time being. A little bit of contact there might have gotten them a bit loose up top. Oh, in contact between him and the 78 of Ryan Rose. Ryan Rose up into that outside wall, able to hang on to it. He's going to lose all that time and probably have to bring it down pit road. And Noah Blackwell now in jeopardy of maybe losing the pack. And I was talking about aggressiveness coming from Noah Blackwell, and we saw it right there, and it cost him just a bit after getting into the back bumper of Ryan Rose. Blackwell has now fallen off this top pack. He's going to lose, or he's going to continue to lose more time here down the back straightaway and probably have to jump in line with that second pack of drivers, which is just a bit back, about 3 more seconds until he sees those drivers. So 6 seconds behind this main pack, 3 seconds behind him. Right now, though, Smith out front, trying to advance his position by 1 more spot from race number 1. He's got Aiden Lucas behind him, who has helped him out this whole race so far. John Tiller and Christopher Stange, the 2 teammates behind them in 3 and 4. Then some more shuffling back here. Landon and Burbage in that bright orange number 2 machine, looking to maybe get some contact there as he was going for a side draft. Able to hang on to it, though. Great job there by Burbage. Now getting a push there from, I think that's the 35 machine behind, or the 38 machine behind. Is it the 30? It's the 35, excuse me. The 35 machine behind him. That's Kenneth Lowry there in that 35. Trying to get up to where his 2 other teammates are currently in that 3rd and 4th position. Seeing if maybe he can work himself up there to help his teammates out a bit. Saw a slight bit of contact there with 3 and 4 between him and Jordan Hand, actually. So these drivers looks to be like they're being a little bit more aggressive in race number 2 now that they know how these drivers are going to be racing one another, which So far, it's turned out to be pretty decent, but as we get into the later portion of this race, these drivers are going to have to be mindful. We saw the big one in race number 2. There is potential to see another big one here in race number 2. So, still a lot of racing left to go here. Carrier leading the outside. He's got Hand and Burbage behind. Those guys trying to make this high side work. Try to get a run on those 3 drivers on that middle lane. They were able to pull Christopher Stange back now, trying to pull back John Taylor. Now, Lucas goes up to throw a block on Dylan Carrier. A late move right there, but pulled it off. Got to be careful with those blocks, though. You don't want to make a block too late. And now Carrier's going to push Lucas out front. Lucas going to take that top spot away. Carrier now going to be clear as well. Jordan Hand not quite clear in that 3rd position. We'll see what Lucas decides to do here in 3 and 4. Looks like he's just going to continue to defend that 54 and maybe try and pick up his teammate Joseph Smith again. And I say teammate, I think they technically are satellite or at least pretty decent acquaintances out on track. So I throw Aiden into that mix with Smith and Ruggle Bruggy, and then also I think it's the 40 as well. But now Carrier making some aggressive moves through 1 and 2, trying to lead down the back straightaway. Lucas getting the help from behind from Jordan Hand and Landon Burbage. This bottom lane isn't quite where it needs to be. Not having the help that they need, but Carrier trying to lead strong on the bottom side. They're going to have a nice run through 3 and 4. Big push right there from Smith to Carrier. Carrier now going to lead again, trying to back up from the first race, trying to make it 2 wins on the night in the doubleheader here at Talladega Superspeedway. He's going to lead here for the time being, but that outside lane coming with the head of steam down the back straightaway. Jordan Hand doing a great job at pushing that number 34 car of Aiden Lucas on that top side. He's got Christopher Stange right behind him, who has been a great 3rd car as well. It's going to be a close one at the line. Aiden able to barely just get the nose out in front. He's now going to move low to throw the block on. Oh! Around goes Aiden Lucas. Contact made, and at least a few cars involved in that one. No caution again, surprisingly. Now we see the caution here. So a caution here, and that should be the stage. And what ended the stage right here had Aiden Lucas go around right at the start-finish line. Aiden going to be scored in 16th position, I believe, once it gets sorted out. Right now, it looks like he's being scored in 16th, though. So a spin going across the start-finish line at the end of the stage there, which is going to mark the halfway point in the race as well. So he'll have to come down pit road and get the attention from his pit crew to maybe get some of that rear end damage fixed, because that is such a vital spot on the Super Speedway cars. Let's go take a look here at the incident here that happened across the start-finish line between Aiden and Lucas. And I believe it was Christopher Stange. So Jordan Hand, not Christopher Stange. So he was leading, and it looks like maybe, it looks like Dylan Carrier might have given a bigger push than what the 34 was anticipating. I mean, Aiden was definitely blocking both lanes as best he could, and maybe just unaligned there when trying to go back down to the bottom, and got him in the 54 unaligned and went for a spin there. Thankfully, he didn't collect anybody else, but definitely collected some damage in that rear end of the 34 car. Yeah, I mean, that's really what it looks like, is just when Aiden was trying to control both those lanes as he worked from top to bottom, and when he was coming back down to the bottom lane, it looks like I'm assuming it was probably just a little bit of aero that might have gotten him a bit loose and shoved him a little bit below that yellow line and got him out of shape. And then when coming back to straighten out, Carrier just kind of was unaligned with the back bumper. We'll see a better angle here. Yeah, it's just such a tough place to be able to make some aggressive blocks, and at a point like this in the racetrack where you just have a transition between what is some slight banking, but also this front straightaway kind of has a little bit of a curve to it, and you know, bumps playing into this low line as well. It just really upsets the car so much, and you'll see it right here again. A little bit of contact there, then trying to get back up a line, more contact being made around Aiden Lucas went. I think most of those drivers got away without any significant contact. I'm not sure if the 35 of Kenneth Lowry might have gotten some front end damage trying to get by Aiden Lucas, although it would be pretty minimum, I believe. But either way, that could have been a lot worse, and another incident where we see these drivers be able to survive and really not involve a whole lot of carnage into a wreck. So with that, Christopher Stange is now going to be the race leader. Dallas Seward in second. Dylan Carrier, who we just saw kind of make that contact with Aiden Lucas, going to retain that third position for the time being. Then you have Joseph Smith back there in fourth. We're going to see the starter have the 1 to go signal this time by. So these drivers are going to get lined back up and get ready to take the green flag once again. If you're just tuning in, folks, welcome into the National Stock Car iRacing Series, live from Talladega Superspeedway. Doubleheader on the line tonight. We already saw Dylan Carrier take home race win number 1 here. And we're about 23. When we take the green flag, it'll be 22 laps to go until we decide race number 2 and find out who can put themselves in victory lane here. The scheduled distance being 50 laps. We did see a little bit of extra lappage in race number 1 as they wrecked with 2 laps to go. So there is definitely room for a few restarts if this thing gets a little wild towards the end. We did see a big one take out a majority of the field there on that incident with 2 to go in that first race. So still having the field, for the most part, be pretty clean out here. We'll see if they can keep it that way for the last 22 laps here. When we get the green flag, pace car is going to pull off onto pit road. Christopher Stange, Dallas Stewart leading the field to green. Into the restart zone again. Green flag back in the air. We are off and racing once again here from Talladega Superspeedway for race number 2. 22 laps to go. Stange out front. Carrier giving a good push on that bottom lane. Stewart trying to get hooked up with Joseph Smith behind as they work themselves through 1 and 2 here down the back straightaway. Oh, a little bit of a checkup again on that bottom side. That's going to send the 38 of Dallas Stewart in through the grass, able to hang on to it, but he's going to go for a wild ride through that infield grass, as well as lose the field. And it looked like that really happened because of another checkup here again, coming off of 4. Dallas Stewart got tapped from behind. Again, had to go through the grass to hang on to it, but didn't receive any damage because of it. But now he's going to need a hope for a caution to get back into the race here. He's now 7 seconds behind the pack here and continuing to fall. Ryan up here in the pack as well in that 7th position on the bottom side. Again, we talked about him in race number 1 as well. Kind of just being a little bit quiet, being a little bit chill, just trying to gain off of other people's mistakes and move himself quietly up towards the front. He's looking to do the same here again. One driver who's not really is Dylan Carrier, as around goes the 20 car of William Connolly there. Other drivers taking evasive maneuvers to get around, but William Connolly going around for a spin off the front end of that 54 machine. And that's going to be the second time tonight that we've seen a driver go off the front end of Dylan Carrier. Dylan winning race number 1, maybe trying to be a little bit more aggressive here in race number 2. And this will bring out our second caution of the race. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at it here. Quite a few different things happening there. Actually, it looked like there was a second incident behind that started to occur as well, involving Jordan Hand. But the first one, eyes on the 54 and the 20. That's the first incident here, the 27 as well. And it looks like Dylan might have made a late move to maybe make it 3 wide, and then John Tiller in that 27. I don't think he knew that they were going to be 3 wide like that, and then contact sending that 20 car around off the front end of that 54 machine coming off of 2. We'll take another look at it here once again. Yeah, a lot of things happening there through 1 and 2. It's just such a hard place to really be side drafting that hard, especially off the exit of 2, where it gets to be so shallow and narrow. Let's see what happened back behind him, though, with Jordan Hand and the 78 of I believe that's Ryan Rose. Yeah, so just kind of checking out for the incident in front of them. That second incident wasn't really too big of a deal. They definitely did trade a little bit of paint, trying to avoid that first collision going on in front of them, but I don't think any of those drivers behind them really got any damage from it. Now, the 20 car will probably have to come down pit road. That's William Connolly. Probably wanted to come take some fresh tires after that spin, but didn't really receive any damage either. So another wreck where it could have been a lot worse, but these drivers did a great job at avoiding anything that could have been turned into something big. Well, Smith being able to take the race lead here over Noah Blackwell and Xavier Rugglebrugge. Again, Smith looking to advance his position by 1 and put himself in victory lane for race number 2. Noah Blackwell looking to rebound after having a late race incident in race number 1, which kind of put him back towards the back of that finishing order, and started on the pole, I believe, for last race, if I remember correctly, but looking to bounce back here for race number 2 and collect some much-needed points after a disappointing race number 1 finish. Landon Burbage back there in 4th as well, looking to have a good night. Then Ryan, again, we talked about him before that incident, just kind of slowly creeping himself up towards the front for a good night overall. Field's going to see the 1 to green this time by. They'll get lined up once again, and then we'll see the green flag next time by. It'll be 16 laps to go when we get the green flag. And again, the scheduled distance here is 50 laps on the race for race number 2 tonight, 100 laps total, although we did go a little bit over in race number 1. So at the end of this thing, it's going to be just a little bit over 100 laps for these drivers tonight. These last 16 laps are going to be a handful and put the ultimate test to these drivers who are going to look to try and put themselves in victory lane. Those two teammates on the bottom side in that 31 and 5 going to make it difficult for the pack. They're going to need to be broken up some way in one way or another. Blackwell looking to make that the case. Landon Burbage is going to be starting outside behind him on the outside. We'll see which one of these lanes gets a good restart. Pace car going to pull off. Smith leading these guys into the restart zone. Blackwell to his outside, into the restart zone we go. Green flag back in the air. 16 laps to go here. And a great start by those two drivers in the inside lane. The 19 of Ryan not having the best start there, though. He was the third driver in line, having a little bit of troubles getting going, so that's going to open up the door for Blackwell and Burbage to slide themselves into that bottom lane. Now that's going to really split this outside lane up. Now, these top three actually decide to go back up towards the top and snake their way through the middle, so those teammates out front trying to control this race like they have for the majority of the night here tonight. The rest of these guys behind trying to work together to get around those guys up at the front. As a little bit of a checkup further back on the high side. I think that's the 8 car of Nathan Brookover, who had a little bit of trouble there through 3 and 4. Landon Burbage ducks low, has no help. Now he's going to lose at least 1, maybe 2, maybe even 3 or 4 spots as he continues to get shuffled down on the bottom lane by himself, continuing to have no help after making that move to the inside. He'll have plenty of time to be able to rebound, though, as long as he doesn't lose the draft. Single file for the top 4 spots. They're side by side for 5th. That's Dylan Carrier trying to work himself back up to the front again. Noah Blackwell maybe trying to bring that 54 up as he looks to maybe try and jump up front. We'll see if he jumps in front of the 54. No, decides to stay low, so the 54 and the 19 now trying to get a run built up here, and now it looks like Blackwell might be trying to decide if he wants to go up or not. I think if given the opportunity, Blackwell has to jump up high. We'll see how aggressive he decides to be on that 18 machine, though. Carrier still leading Ryan here in that top line. Jordan Hand, that third car in line. Landon Burbage right behind him. 4 cars making up the top side, as at least 7 to 8 cars in that middle lane. Then you have Dallas Stewart in the 38 behind, making it a 1-car show on that inside lane. A little bit of blinkers there from Ryan in 3 and 4, but able to keep momentum built. We'll see what Carrier can do here off of 4. Blackwell now looking high. Goes back down to the bottom, trying to drag those guys up towards the top. And Ryan in the wall a bit off of 4. Able to keep it going, though, so he will lose some positioning, but I think he can maintain in the lead pack. At least I hope. Well, let's see if we can get a good look at it here. I know there is definitely some right front fender damage, but I think he should be okay to continue on as long as he can keep in this draft and not fall off or lose it. His night was going so good and was just kind of putting together the race that he needed. We'll see if he can make anything happen in these next 12 laps and work himself back up towards the front. That really broke this pack up, though. They've now gone mostly single file. That top side has broken apart. That low line as well has not really put itself back together. So the top 5 right now, single file, then right behind them. They're trying to figure it out for 6th position and trying to figure out who they can work with to maybe go up and run by some of these guys in front. That's a 29 of Christopher Stange as they check up again. Jordan Hand going around. And around goes Jordan Hand, and caution out with 11 laps to go. And another one of these checkups that causes another incident to happen behind. A nice job at Jordan Hand, though, to be able to keep it from coming back up on the track and taking anybody out. He put a lot of wheel into that, I believe, to keep it down there and not come flying back up on the track. So a great job here by this 48 car to hang on to that machine. So it's coming down the backstretch here, I believe. Yeah, that's... I'm gonna... look at that slide right there by Jordan Hand. Almost collected. I think that was Aiden Lucas who just got by there. But that mostly really started with those two teammates, the 29 and the 35, Christopher Stange and Kenneth Lowry. You see their other teammate, the 27 of John Taylor, in front of them, and I think they were trying to pick up John in front of them. So they chucked up a little bit, and unfortunately the guys behind them weren't really anticipating for that to happen. Jordan Hand just kind of got ping-ponged off the back bumper of the 35 and went for a slide right here. A great job at keeping out of that inside wall. Slid back up and almost collected Aiden Lucas there at the very end, but able to avoid getting hit by anyone or hitting anything. That's right on board here with Aiden. So he's way back behind the wreck here, and he starts to get the call. Jordan Hand down there. He starts to see him slide up, trying to decide on where he wants to go, and right there, just used the wall to get right on by. Boy, what a close call for Aiden Lucas in that 34 machine to slip right on by. Definitely was a close call, but just had enough room to get on by and lives to fight. So now we're going to have under 10 laps to go here. We should get the one to go this time by. So we'll have 7 laps to go when we get the green flag back in hand. Dylan Carrier right there in that 4th position. Again, trying to make it 2 wins on the night after winning that race number 1 here. Noah Blackwell been holding strong in that 3rd position, but I would keep my eye on these 3 teammates back here in 5th through 7th. You'll have John Taylor, Christopher Stange, and Kenneth Lowry lined up pretty much together here on this restart. And, you know, I think they can work together pretty decent and maybe put themselves up towards the front and maybe get a good run here on this restart. Now, it's going to definitely heavily depend on how quickly and how they can get hooked together here, how organized they can get. But they do have a shot here on the restart to maybe make some noise over the drivers in front of them. Well, before y'all go away and before we get the conclusion of this race done, don't forget we'll have post-race coverage after the checkered flag here. We'll be able to talk to the top 3 drivers of this race and be able to hear from them. But then we'll also kind of recap both these 2 races and look ahead to next week and what this series has in store for us. But right now, eyes are on the top 2 drivers here of Joseph Smith and Xavier Rogelbrugge. Those 2 teammates going to be in control once again on this restart. We're going to see 7 laps to go when we get the green flag. I believe we still should have all 18 drivers out here on the racetrack. Yes, we do. So all 18 drivers still out on the racetrack here to take the green flag. It'll be pretty interesting to see what these drivers do in this next 7 laps. Still have yet to see a big wreck, which could be very possible. We'll see how crazy these guys decide to get green flag back in the air. Smith with a great restart over Xavier and Noah Blackwell, who has now slotted himself into that 2nd position. Blackwell now breaking up the 2 teammates there on that top side. What will Xavier do? Dylan Carrier right back there as well. Single file for the time being up at the front, the first 4 to 5 cars, that is. And then we have to go a little bit further back until we see these guys side by side. The first one of those drivers is going to be Dallas Stewart on the inside with help from William Connolly in that black 20 machine behind him. And like I said, watch out for those teammates. A little bit of contact between the 20 and the 38. They're going to keep it going, but those 3 teammates on the top side looking to work together, led by the 27 of John Tiller. Xavier going up to block and defend those 3 teammates. They're going to lead their way through 3 and 4. Now John looking to leave Xavier out through the middle. Those 3 teammates looking to make it a 3-horse battle in the middle lane. Broken up now, Xavier and Joseph Smith. Five laps to go this time by at the line. Things getting wild. 3, maybe even trying to make it 4 wide for a moment for rows 3 and 4. These drivers know they're running out of time. You can just see this desperation and the aggressive level going up as now they're 3 wide for the race lead. 3 by 3 by 3 for at least 5 rows deep, continuing to push as hard as they can. John Tiller leading that middle lane, trying to make sure that he gets to the race lead with help from his teammates behind. But Joseph Smith on the bottom side getting great help from Noah Blackwell behind. And Xavier Rogelbrugge trying to hang on that top lane. That top lane not as organized for the time being. We'll see what happens as they head into 1 and 2. Now those 3 teammates working great together. John Tiller able to get out front with help from Kenneth Lowry for the time being. Those 2 are going to be clear in that middle lane. What are they going to do down the back straightaway though? That top lane looking to get collected and maybe have a good run here. That bottom lane though has kind of fallen apart, led by Joseph Smith. Those guys now back to at least that 4th position in that middle lane. Nunez, Xavier hooked up here off of 4. They're going to have a good run coming down the front straightaway. What will John Tiller do? Is he going to stay with his teammate? Yes, he is. He's not going to go up and try and defend it quite yet. Although he's going to need to side draft, and he's Gonna need to work as well with his teammate as best he can as Dallas Stewart goes around behind. And a hard, vicious hit there from that 38 machine. Coming across the line, no caution. Still keeping it green for the time being. And now that outside lane has kind of put themselves out in front. Nunes able to hang on as they... Sounds like there might be some cars in the wall a little bit back here. Still going strong. I think it might be Jordan Hand who is in the wall a bit back here, which is going to actually bring out the caution now. So we are going to get another caution here with just a handful of laps to go. And this time it's going to involve Jordan Hand as things are getting wild there. So I heard it kind of start to happen, but I didn't exactly see what exactly happened with this 48 car. And all right, we'll have to go a little bit back further than that. So he's a little bit back here. He's got the 37 Michael Badra behind him. Looks like there was a decent sized shove. Oh, and then, yeah, looks like the 61 of Lucian Thompson might have tried to come up and get in front of the 48, and then those two stuck, or at least stayed hooked together through majority down that backstretch into 3 at least. And that brings out the caution here. This will be a pretty decent angle, the 61. Yeah, looks like he might have just tried to get up in front of the 48 there and just was not clear quite all the way. Han definitely had his struggles coming off of 2 there, got into that outside wall, then got a bit of a shove there from the 37, and yeah, the 61 was just trying to come up to clear and just unfortunately was not quite clear all the way. Maybe needed a split second more before he was fully clear, but those two make contact and slide down this back straightaway, hook together into 3, and then finally able to come apart, and that's going to bring out the caution here. And we'll be set up for a quick little stint to the finish here once again, like we saw in race number 1. Well, we haven't quite seen the big one like we anticipated that we would see, like we did see in race number 1. Now, it is going to be a little bit crazy here on this restart when these guys get lined back up, considering we have at least 17 cars out here on track currently. Dallas Stewart currently 2 laps down, but these 3 drivers up front, Xavier Rugglebrugge, Landon Burbage, and Aiden Lucas, I think are probably in the best spots out of the rest of the field. Obviously, Smith with the, or Xavier with the race lead, excuse me. Rugglebrugge with the race lead is in the prime position to be able to control the race, but Landon Burbage will more than likely be lined up to his outside here on the restart. So that'll be... If he can get a good restart, he might be able to put himself out in front of that 5 machine, but he is going to have to worry about Xavier having Aiden behind him, who is such a great pusher and might be able to push that 5 car out front now. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit crazy here. We got the 1 to go signal from the starter, so these guys going to have at least one shot. At least one more shot. We might have a few more attempts, but at least one more shot for sure at a chance at victory here. Gonna need to be able to tug their belts tight one last time. Get those tires get them tires ready. Also go over any last minute strategy or hype coaching from their team that they might need. Well, like I said, folks, make sure you stay tuned for after the race here. Once we get the checkered flag, we'll be able to speak to some of these drivers and our eventual race winner. And then don't forget as well, some of these drivers going for a little bit extra purse money for the Dash for Cash here tonight. Those positions are determined, or at least those positions are going to be decided based off of the best average finish from both these races here tonight. So some of these drivers gonna have a little bit more to lose on this restart. We'll see how these drivers decide to handle it, though. Xavier gonna have Aiden Lucas behind him. Burbage gonna have John Tiller behind him as they work through the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go this time by. A great restart by that outside lane, and not so much on that inside lane. It's just going to be Aiden Lucas and Xavier Rugglebruggy who are going to be connected here on that inside lane. But outside lane much more formed together than that inside lane. We'll see what they can do down the back straightaway here as John Tiller giving a great push to Landon Burbage as they head down the back straightaway. Contact made, and Burbage into that outside wall pretty hard, keeping it green though, but heavy right front damage to Landon Burbage, and that might be the end of his night and the chances at a win for that 2 machine. But John Tiller now taking that top spot away. He's got Rugglebruggy and Lucas behind. Carrier right there as well. The 20 car of William Connolly holding down that 5th position now. Xavier, Aiden Lucas making a run to the outside. Carrier right back in tow behind. White flag in the air. One more time around for these drivers up at the front. Those 2 teammates, though, hooked together. We'll see if Aiden decides to make a move. He goes high, goes low. Oh, he gets hooked. Xavier hooked up and around through the field. Carnage going on behind him. Ryan gets caught up involved. Dylan Carrier, though, looking to the inside, side by side through 3 and 4. The teammates coming up behind. John Tiller, Christopher Stage, they're going to have a huge run here off of 4. Where will they go? Contact beaming 3 wide for the race lead. John Tiller up through the middle. He's going to go high, go low, control all those lanes, and at the start-finish line, John Tiller is going to win at Talladega and collect race win number 2 as they wreck once again at the start-finish line here. But it's not going to matter because John Tiller comes home with the race win. A crazy restart and a crazy finish there Xavier and Aiden getting hooked together, making contact. Those two drivers ultimately not coming home with the win. But John Tiller, with a late help from his teammate Christopher Stange, works his way around to the start-finish line and gets the win for race number 2 here at Talladega Superspeedway for the National Stock Car iRacing Series. He's going to go burn it down here at the start-finish line, and then he's going to park it on the start-finish line, and he'll get out of his car, and we'll be able to take a moment to speak with him in just a second. Stay tuned as we get these drivers into the waiting room here. We'll give these drivers just a second to get up in the booth here again. Then we'll be able to take a moment and speak with our race winner, as well as second and third place, I believe we will be able to take a moment and speak with as well. Let's go ahead, though, now that we've got our race winner in the booth. Congrats, John, on the race win. Able to take it home in a last lap move there at the very end, needing to make it count when you did, and you got help from your teammate behind. What does this win do for you and your team?
Dude, it does a lot, man. I can't be more excited for me and Badera Esports, man. Like this is awesome. I honestly did not expect to win that race, and you know some of the blocks that were thrown there at the end, I hate it for some of those guys. But you throw those kind of blocks coming to the checker flag, it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, and that's the big part of super speedway racing. You're going to have those big blocks. You're going to have things that sometimes maybe go your way, but also not go your way. But tonight it was able to go your way, and you're able to put yourself in the right position, and but also have help from behind from a familiar face, and able to capture a win here on the season for race number 2 at Talladega. I mean, what a heck of a night for you, and we spoke to your some of your teammates there in after race number 1, and it sounded like you guys worked pretty well throughout the night in both these races. I mean, tell me a little bit about how that race with both those races went with working as a team out there together.
Well, the first race, I kind of got into the 20 as he moved down, and we kind of had a little mishap there with a teammate that just, I think it was mostly netcode, but it kind of turned me into the wall, ruined my race. I ended up finishing dead last, but in that second race, we worked really well together. Chris and Kenneth both there. They worked really well with me, and we was able to make that run on the last lap, man. And it was no lift at that point, and see what happened, and it just happened to work in our favor. So can't complain.
Definitely cannot complain on a victory here at Talladega and getting it done in pretty good fashion here. Like you mentioned, getting taken out there in that last race pretty early on and finishing last, not having race 1 go your way, but backing it up in race number 2. And congrats on the race win. Before I let you go, though, as you go on through the season, obviously we head to Kentucky and Speedway next week, and then we head to Martinsville and Indianapolis. Is there any momentum that you think you can carry over through these next couple of weeks?
Yeah, Absolutely. I mean, I feel pretty confident with Kentucky. It's, I really like that track. So I feel like we've got a good chance there. And then Martinsville, it's kind of, I won't really say it's like a super speedway, but it's luck of the draw. If you can start up front, you can manage to stay up there and make it to the end. So we'll see what happens at Martinsville, but I feel really good about Kentucky.
Well, we'll make sure that we keep our eyes on you at Kentucky. Before I let you go celebrate here in Victory Lane, is there any sponsors you'd like to thank or any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, absolutely. A shout out to my whole team, Christopher Stange there, Kenneth Lowry, and Michael Badera. And of course, thank you to the sponsor, which happens to be Michael Badera, Badera Sports. Check him out on eBay there. He sells a lot of die casts and stuff like that. So make sure to check him out. And without those guys, it wouldn't be possible for me to even be here. So appreciate them for everything they do.
Alrighty, John. Congrats on the race win here at Talladega for race number 2. Thank you for taking a moment to speak with us, and hopefully we can speak to you next week.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope to see you in the booth next week for sure.
Alrighty, that was John Taylor there, finishing in the top spot with a late race move at the very end to put himself in position with help from his teammates. Let's go ahead and stand by with Dylan Carrier here, who finished second after getting that win in the first race. Almost able to back it up and go back-to-back here. What do you think you might need to have it go a little bit different there on that last lap?
Not slowing myself up trying to run Aiden up the track. I'll be completely honest. I was trying to run him up the track because I seen the run coming on like up against the wall. So I was trying to like kind of scooch him up there in front of him to kind of block the run, but instead he wanted to door me. So then we just played door tag, and then he ended up in the wall, and then I lost all my momentum. But I mean, I'll take a second place finish. Good points night. I won the dash for cash, so I got 90 extra bucks. I'll take it. All I had to do was finish in the top 5, and after winning the first race, so I'll take it. Great points night. I'm always up front at super speedways. I don't know how. I just somehow find my way up there. It's all about execution there in the last couple laps.
Yeah, you mentioned a good thing, or you mentioned a good thing there, taking home the extra money there that was on the line for some of you drivers tonight. So not only did you get a first and a second, but you also get that extra cash in your pocket after the race here tonight. So a lot to be positive and a lot to carry over here for momentum when we head to Kentucky. But I mean, we're kind of joking about maybe seeing you in the booth, and you were able to put yourself in the booth here for race number 2. But an outstanding job there by you and your team tonight. Definitely were a threat all night out there tonight. We kind of talked about a lot of things in race 1, but before I let you go, is there any more shouts or anything else that you thought of during that race?
Yeah, shout out to my teammates. They helped me a lot these 2 races. Shout out to Lucian and Dallas, and Noah was kind of filling in. He's not on my team. He was just there. He raced in my chat tonight, so we had communication. And the Chesapeake guys, we're affiliated with the Chesapeake guys, so big ups to them. Worked well with them too. I was going to try to push one of them to the win, but that didn't happen. They wrecked each other. They decided they wanted to wreck each other there under the white flag. So I was going to push one of them, whoever could get clear, and they decided to turn each other, so I just took the run. Besides that, I don't think I got anybody. I think I've gotten everybody. I already shouted out Noah, and obviously shout out to you. You do a great job. I've been pretty excited to go back and watch all these broadcasts after the race and everything. So, shout out to you, and I think that's all I got.
All right, Dylan. Well, we're going to go ahead and let you celebrate not only the win from race number 1, but also the second place and the extra money, and hopefully we can speak to you again next week.
Yes, sir.
That was Dylan Carrier running out in that second position, and you kind of heard how stoked he was, not only for getting the race win, or at least one of the 2 wins on the race night here tonight, but also getting a second in race number 2. But then also, on top of all that, getting a little bit extra purse money in his pocket. So a lot to be hyped about if you're that 54 team and just Dylan in general. One other driver who did also have a good night here is Nathan Brookover, who wound up finishing in that 3rd position. Kind of a chaotic night from start to finish, but you were able to find yourself finishing 3rd and a good points night here overall. I mean, just tell me a little bit about your night and maybe what could have gone a little bit differently there in some of the portions of this race.
Oh, well, I mean, both races kind of just in the back, just kind of biding my time. Obviously, the first one, nothing really worked out, but this one obviously ended a lot better. On that last restart, I think I was like 13th, and I was just like, well, I'm not really here for points. So I'm just like, I'll just hold it to the floor, and we're either going to make it or we'll end up crashed. And luckily, somehow, with everything that went down, I was on the lucky end of it to make it through.
Yeah, and we talk about luck needing to be on your side for these super speedways. It was definitely one of those nights for you, and you kind of mentioned just kind of, I wouldn't say holding out super, extensive, but just kind of letting guys put themselves in the bad positions and then kind of making up those spots when you needed to. And ultimately, the best finish of the night here comes in race number 2 with the 3rd place finish. And I don't know. Are you planning on racing some more races here this season?
We'll see if this ends up being a one-off. I'm not 100% sure yet, but if it can keep going like that second race, I'll probably be back for some more later on.
Well, I think we'd love to have you here, and you looked good out there at the very end, and I will say it can be a little bit chaotic, but it was very fun to watch or I guess both these races and all these drivers in the field tonight, and hopefully we can see you back later this season, even if it is just for 1 or 2 more races. Before I let you go, though, is there any shout-outs you'd like to give or any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Thank you for putting on the show, Jordan and Dylan for letting me come over and race tonight. It was fun. Good way to end the night, but yeah, that's about all that I got.
All right, Nathan. Well, we're going to go ahead and let you go, and hopefully we can see you back here later in the season, at least for one more race.
Yeah, we'll see what the future holds for us.
Alrighty, that was 3rd place driver Nathan Brookover, and one-off race here so far. Has yet to see if he wants to do some more races. I think everybody would love to see another driver here in this league at least do at least a couple more races. Obviously, it's up to the driver and the team choice. So depending on what he wants to do, we could potentially see him back. I personally would like to see him back. A little bit more drivers added to the field always makes for a great time. Let's go ahead and take a look at these full race results for race number 2 here at Talladega. John Taylor taking home the race win. John Taylor taking home the race win. Dylan Carrier, who we spoke to, finishing in 2nd. Nathan Brookover, who we just talked to doing that one-off, finishing in 3rd. Christopher Stange, Joseph Smith rounding out the top 5. Then we have Ryan Rose, Landon Brevich, William Connolly, and Kenneth Lowry. And then Lucian Thompson there running out the top 10. Michael Badra. I know. We just talked to John there, and I think he said your name a little bit differently, so I'll go back and take a look at that. Jordan Hand, Ryan Holler, Xavier Roglebrugge. Xavier not having the finish that he probably wanted to have after making contact there at the very end with Aiden. Aiden also finishing right behind him in 15th. Joshua Nunes there in 17th, and Noah Blackwell and Dallas Stewart rounding out the field. So a great night tonight overall for a majority of this field. Some other drivers maybe having one of the 2 races go their way. Still, though, I mean, from start to finish, what a heck of a drive from all of these drivers to put on a good show, a good 2 races out there tonight. Couldn't really ask for anything more, and we kind of talked about it going to Kentucky next week. Definitely going to bring a challenge to some of these drivers. That's going to be a whole different track from what we saw here at Talladega. Congrats to Dylan for taking home that extra dash for cash purse money, but also the win in race number 1. And then congrats to John Taylor again for getting race win number 2 here. It was such a fun night from start to finish. A lot of excitement, a lot of things that went as good as you probably could ask for, than some other things that maybe not going the way that some drivers would want for. But overall, a great night here. Again, John Taylor taking home the win, who we just spoke to a few moments ago, putting himself in victory lane for race number 2. Before we go, though, I mean, I think I pretty much covered it all. Again, we'll see you guys next week from Kentucky Speedway. Same place, same time, right here on Turn Sector Media. I'm Oscar Jensen, who have brought you the race coverage live from Talladega tonight. We'll see you guys next week. This has been the National Stock Car iRacing Series, live from Talladega Superspeedway.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We got a great car, great team. We'll execute. Our time. We know what we got to do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
We'll fight to the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction.
Side by side, hammer down.
The after-checks are lit. Count out anybody who wants it the most.
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his